Sounds on.
Okay. Everybody ready?
Ready?
Good evening. Can I please ask everyone to stand for the pledge? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening and welcome to tonight's Town Board meeting, November 22nd, 2022. We're just going to jump around on the agenda for one moment, and I'm going to ask Chief Oliva to please step forward.
Thank you. Honorable Town Board, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, thank you for allowing us to jump out of order to get this little bit of business taken care of. So since September of this year, we've worked with the local school districts to place a police officer in the schools for the protection of our children. The full-time school resource officer program has created some vacancies that we have been working to fill. As part of this process, we've canvassed the resident civil service list for police officer and have conducted interviews. Mr. Charles F. Klaus of both Valhalla and Hawthorne was interviewed as part of the process and passed a background investigation, physical agility exam, and other necessary exams for the position of police officer. Why don't you come up here, Mr. Klaus? Mr. Klaus is currently a New York City police officer, at least until midnight tonight, if all goes well. He's held this position since 2020 and is currently assigned to the 5-2 precinct in the Bronx. During his 2+ year career in New York City, he had the ability to become a field training officer, which is unheard of down there. He's currently an EMT, has worked with Portchester EMS and Westchester EMS before becoming a police officer. He was also a part-time employee in the traffic safety unit of the police department as a seasonal laborer in the past. He was a Valhalla volunteer firefighter for 5 years until his work schedule would no longer allow him to carry out his duties. He attended Mercy College and has obtained 60 college credits so far. We're going to encourage him to continue his schooling. He is well qualified and will make a great addition to the department. He has some history here as in the 1950s, the best I can tell, his great uncle, Joe Klaus, was a Mount Pleasant police officer for a period of time. And he had a grandfather that was chief of police from 1968 through 1992. I'd respectfully request the board authorize the hiring of Mr. Charles Klaus to the position of probationary police officer with the town of Mount Pleasant, effective 11/23/22, with the salary prescribed by the collective bargaining agreement. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Shulman?
Okay, this is going to become official. I'm going to pretty much repeat what you said, Chief, but this is an authorization from Chief Oliva to hire a police officer candidate effective November 23rd, 2022, salary per the PBA contract. Mr. Charles Klaus of Valhalla has passed the interview process, the extensive background screening, in addition to the mandated screening exams. He will be filling a new patrol position created by the reassignment of an existing patrol officer, full-time school resource officer. Mr. Klaus has already been certified as a police officer and will not need to attend any additional outside training. So the Chief respectfully requests that we authorize the hiring of Mr. Charles Klaus to a full-time probationary police officer at the salary commensurate to his experience based on the most recent collective bargaining agreement, effective midnight, 11/23/2022. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Jerry?
Second.
Tie.
Second by Lori. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Congratulations. I'm going to swear you in now.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Yes, to get sworn in.
We're going to make it official, give the oath of office over here.
solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of police officer
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of police officer
of the town of Mount Pleasant according to the best of my ability.
of the town of Mount Pleasant to the best of my ability.
Mr. Klaus is engaged, I'm going to ask his fiancee Kayla to come up and not stick him.
Great job.
You want to take some pictures? Want to come up?
With the board?
With the board?
Sure.
Okay.
If that's all right.
That's fine. Yeah, not at all.
How are you? Long time no see. You been busy? A lot of stuff going around. What is it? Oh, really?
Welcome back. Congratulations again.
Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. I don't know if family wants to stay for the rest of the meeting.
Go take pictures outside.
You guys ready? Okay, so we're going to move on with our agenda. We have 3 public hearings to start. The first public hearing is for the preliminary 2023 budget. Emily, can you please read the notice?
Notice of public hearing, Town of Mount Pleasant. Notice is hereby given that the Town Board of the Town of Mount Pleasant will hold a public hearing on the 2023 budget at 7:00 p.m. on Tuesday, November 22nd, 2022, at the Town Hall, 1 Town Hall Plaza, Valhalla, New York, 10595. The townwide proposed budget for 2023 may be inspected by the public during normal business hours in the office of the town clerk. At said hearing, all persons shall be heard.
Thank you. Just to make note, at this time, we do plan on keeping this hearing open. Most of our department heads are here. At first, I'd like to invite Brian Canilli, our comptroller, up.
Danielle, do you want to take a motion to open the public hearing?
Oh, I'm sorry. Can I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Sorry, Tom
Yes.
and Jerry.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, now for the fun stuff. Good evening, Honorable Deputy Town Supervisor and Honorable Town Board. Thanks for having me here tonight. As introduced, my name is Brian Keneally. I'm the Comptroller for the town. As Comptroller, I also serve as the Budget Director. I've been with the town 5 years, and this is my 5th budget here. So thank you. So just an overall for tonight, we're not going to get into specifics in every budget line. So more like an overview of where we are fiscally, and just like a general overview of the 2023 budget. If people have specific questions from the audience, I'm more than willing to go through it. If anybody wants to follow up in the public afterwards, I've done that in prior years, and I'm open to that too. Okay. So the budget process for 2023 starts in the summer. Every department submits formal budget requests to the supervisor and myself. We have numerous budget meetings. Sometimes we bring in the town board or the liaisons for the department for further discussion. So tonight is the result of, multiple months of meetings regarding the budget. right? In October 30th, we come out with the tentative budget, which many people refer to as the supervisor's budget, and now we're in the preliminary budget stage. For here, we're open to public input, further discussion, further analysis by the town board, and then in December, we adopt the budget as final. So that's just kind of like an overview of like how the budget process flows. All right, so I want to talk about like where we are now in this year, because that really impacts, what we can do in 2023. On the expense side, I think everybody knows in their personal life, it's a tough year in terms of inflation, supply chain issues, uncertainty of cost. You can't get something, and when you do get it, you're not sure what it's going to cost. It's going to be a lot more than what you'd pay today. So we're all kind of dealing with that. This goes for, utilities, employee benefits, materials, vendor contracts. And just in terms of contracts, to give you an idea, a lot of our contracts are tied to like consumer price index increases, like the CPI increases. The CPI increase from June of 21 to June of 22 is up 7%. So something like our sanitation contract is going up 7% next year, right? Normally we see 1 to 2% increases. So we're really struggling just with the overall economic environment, with everything going on. But some good news. If we look at the revenue sources this year, we've actually have done pretty well in the revenues. I jotted down a couple of the different major revenue lines other than real property taxes. For sales tax, we had 1% increase from the county last year. We budgeted appropriately for that, and we're still planning to beat the budget by $200,000. For building permits, we're continuing to do very well with building permits. We plan to beat the budget by $200,000 there. For mortgage tax, sorry, just was a little under the weather, so get a sip so I don't cough. Just bear with me. Okay. For mortgage tax, we plan to beat the budget by $700,000 this year. We did very well in mortgage tax last year. This is one thing, though, that we don't expect to continue into the future, so we're not going to budget those levels going forward, but we'll take it while we have it. Court fines are starting to come back to pre-COVID levels. We're not like exactly there yet, but we're doing okay with that. We did very well with our recreation programs this summer. Thank you to Doug, our superintendent, John. It looks like we hit the budget with the pool revenues. And for camp, it looks like we're going to beat the budget by $400,000. So I think we're back to pre-COVID levels, which is good. That's a good thing.
Excellent.
All right, so how does this affect our 22 budget? In government, we have a term called appropriated fund balance. This is basically using like our savings to offset future tax increases going forward. In 22, we plan to use $2 million to balance the 22 budget of fund balance. Despite all the tough operating environments that we talked about, because of the positive revenue variances, we think we're going to actually beat that by $1 million. So, and again, we don't have a crystal ball, so we may do better than that. We may break even, but we're planning to, expenses may still exceed revenues in actual, but from a budgetary perspective, we're going to beat the budget by $1 million. So we're pretty excited about that. That's good news. So where does that leave us with fund balance? We're anticipating to end 22 with $19 million fund balance. So we continue to have a very strong fund balance position. The town's in a very strong position. I could talk about fund balance for 3 hours if anybody wants to, but we have a fund balance policy, but we don't have specific numbers in the fund balance policy. But unofficially, we talked that we never really want to go below $12 million. If we're in the $16 to $20 million range, I think that's very strong. So if we're ending with $19 million, that's great. And The reason why that ties into our '23 budget is because that allows us to appropriate, like we said, use our savings to offset future tax increases if we have a strong fund balance, right? And, you know, we talked about several times, it's not just for that reason. We were recently updated with our credit agencies, so I think having that fund balance and showing we're fiscally responsible has really contributed to that upgrade. All right, so let's talk about the '23 budget while we're here tonight. I just want to go over a few of the highlights. So one thing I want to say is I know the board is committed to not breaking the tax cap, right? We can go up to a 3.1% increase and still be below the cap. A lot of people associate the tax cap at 2%, but when you're not going up to the 2% level, you have carry forward and some other small exclusions. So we could go up to 3.1%. We're currently presenting a 2.5% increase for next year. And just to kind of put this in like a dollar figure, if you have like a $700,000 property in Mount Pleasant, it's probably less than a $50 tax increase. That's for being in the Kensico Water District. If you're in one of the more challenging water districts, it could be a little bit more, but it's not going to be that much more. So in terms of dollar amount, it's not excessive. One thing I want to bring up, though, is we got some somewhat upsetting news the other night. We finally got our health insurance rates from the state, and we were expecting an increase of about 7%. This is after almost a 15% increase last year. And they're actually going up 15% this year. Actually, a little more than 15% if you look at the Part B rates for the retirees. So that was pretty upsetting, and in terms of a dollar amount, that's going to cost us about $400,000 from where we are right now. Just to put in perspective how much health benefits cost, it's currently over $38,000 for a family for a health plan. So the cost of the benefits are just getting out of control. With our discussions, we talked about, although we weren't expecting this, we're still committed to not breaking the tax cap for next year. So what we plan to do is we're going to go back to the departments, and we're going to look for a little bit of give back for every department to cover this difference, and we're going to look at some other things we can do to work on this. So, we don't usually expect a lot of changes from the preliminary budget, the final budget, and I don't expect we will, but, we will have a change in this area. But we don't anticipate it being a big tax increase because of what happened. So just want to put that out there. The next big thing in a budget usually is positions. So we're not adding any new positions next year other than in police, and we'll talk about that. We're really tightening the belt this year. We're keeping positions flat. Some people may have changed titles, so if you're looking at the budget, you may see a new title, but there's no net adds. So there's really no positions added. For the police, we're only adding positions because we're doing the school resource officer. So and the chief could, talk about that if there's any questions, but there's also a share cost with the school districts. So that's a little bit of a different situation. The last really big area of the budget I want to talk about is like capital projects or capital spending. Now, I think, we've been very smart here at the town, is when rates were low, we said, let's get all of our bonding now, let's approve our projects. Any short-term debt, let's put it to long-term debt at the lower rates. Any opportunities to refinance, we capitalized on, and we did what we had to do. Now that we're in a 7% plus interest rate environment, we're not looking to obligate the residents with 7% bonds over 20, 30 years. And also having a decent fund balance gives you the flexibility of not having to go out the bond for everything. If you have to buy a piece of equipment, you can use fund balance instead of paying these exorbitant rates. So that really concludes what I wanted to say. I just wanted to say, you know, we're in great financial shape. We have $19 million of fund balance. We're tightening our expenditures for 2023, and we're committed as a board and administration to not break the tax cap next year. So thank you so much, and that's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So I'm going to ask our tax assessor, Jim Timmons, to come forward. He just wanted to make a statement.
I had prepared a couple of notes, in particular on building, and one of the things that's driving accessibles in town. We have quite a few major projects, both in the villages, Sleepy Hollow and Pleasantville, as well as projects going on in the town. So that, not right away, but over time, we'll add assessments, which should help with budgeting as well. We have two major additions or notes to make on real property tax exemptions. Last year, the board approved increase to the maximum for veterans exemptions. So that's on the 22 assessment roll, and the first bill to be affected by that will be in April of 23. So coming up this April. The board also additionally just approved the increase to the maximums allowed by law for the senior low-income exemption, which is the first time that's been increased for about 12 years, I believe. So that's going to be a significant change, and hopefully will bring more of the seniors who may have, you know, for lack of a better term, incomed out of the low-income exemption back into the program. The 50% exemption now will be on an income of $50,000 as opposed to what it was, $29,000. So it's a significant increase. And the 5% exemption will be on an income of $58,400 versus $38,400. So again, a significant increase, and that should help many seniors, I would hope, stay in their homes. That said, that was approved just recently by the board, so it will go on the 2023 assessment roll next June, and it'll first affect taxes of April 24. So the impact will be a little bit off in the distance, but nonetheless, it's a big bump up for the exemption. So hopefully, it will help a lot of people. Additionally, due to the pandemic, the last 2 years, the state has allowed us to renew that exemption, the senior citizen low-income exemption, just rolling over the percentage any senior who had qualified had on the previous 19 assessment roll. And we've rolled that forward in each succeeding year. We're going to ask that everybody, whether they're reapplying or whether they're new applicants, to come in and apply in person this year. Hopefully there won't be any health problems or issues, but after several years of not getting current income information, some people may be eligible for more of an exemption. Indeed, with the increased limits, that may be the case. So we want to get back on the regular habit of getting actual documentation in with each application. So again, I'd be glad to answer any questions if anybody has them on exemptions or assessments generally, or otherwise, I'm always available at Town Hall. Yes, Tom?
Yeah, you want to go first, Lori? Go ahead.
I don't have a question, just, I'd like you to just outline very succinct, very short, the process for a senior to come in and what they could possibly have to bring with them. Many of them are not familiar with town hall offices and the assessor's office itself. If you could just explain a little bit on how a senior would go ahead to apply for some of these exemptions.
Sure. Any applicant, either a renewal or a new applicant, has to file the form necessary. It's all relative to the state law that applies for the exemption. So it's Real Property Tax Form 467 is the section of the law that applies to senior low income. And it requires, there's a brochure that goes along with it that stipulates what is needed to support that exemption application. So your income tax return, any documentation, if you don't file an income tax return, as to what you may have had for income, interest statements from banks. I'm not a CPA, so I'm not exactly sure what limits would require you to file a return versus not filing a return. But at any rate, your federal or state return, any documentation that goes along with that. It's all income, unfortunately. It's not a simple calculation like the senior star, which is just adjusted gross less any IRA withdrawals. It's a pretty straightforward calculation. The senior low income includes your gross income, otherwise tax exempt income, Social Security benefits, rental income if you have it. You have to add back depreciation if you have a rental property, that kind of thing. It's pretty expansive as to what is included in income to qualify for that exemption. And there again, that's one of the reasons it was important to raise those limits, because in 12 years, again, with inflation, things have gotten quite a bit more expensive, and someone who is, making 40 or 50,000 didn't qualify last year may qualify this year for some percentage exemption. And I say this coming year's assessment roll, it won't impact their taxes until '24. But offices are open 8:30 to 4:30, Monday through Friday. There's myself, and I have two people that were working with me in the office, the deputy assessor and my assessment clerk, both wonderful people, who will help. If they have questions on the application when they come in, they can answer them, questions, and if there's something we can't answer, we'll get an answer for you.
Would your office be able to help seniors with STAR and enhanced STAR applications also?
Typically, we don't have to anymore because the state's taken that program over from the local assessors' offices. So as of August of 2015, any new homeowner has to apply directly with the state, whether it's basic or senior, so-called enhanced STAR. Those people who already have the enhanced STAR, or people who had the basic STAR and have aged into the enhanced STAR, are allowed to keep it on their school bill. The seniors, though, again, around 2015, 2016, were required to join what the state calls an income verification program, because the state took over the Office of Real Property Services and blended or molded it into Department of Taxation and Finance. They already have everybody's income tax returns, so they don't need us to collect it. In other words, they have access to the documentation. But while they have this income verification program, all the seniors who had that exemption had to qualify for that program. And the state now tells us, yes, they still qualify, or no, they don't qualify. The big issue there on qualifying or not often happens when people put properties into trusts, which is more of an income tax, estate tax concern, not a real property tax concern. As long as the senior, the owner of the property, remains the beneficiary owner of the trust, they remain eligible for all the exemptions they would have had otherwise. So again, if there's an issue, we're always available to help. The seniors do not have to typically come in for the STAR unless the state tells them you don't qualify, you'll have to explain it why you might.
Okay,
Okay?
very good, thank you.
Okay. Tom, did you?
You answered my question beautifully. Thank you.
All right, good, that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Do any of our other department heads want to come up and say anything? Make any? No? Everyone's good? Okay. So at this time, I'll take public comments for public hearing for the preliminary 2023 budget. If you have any comments, please come up. Nobody? Okay. So at this time, I will take a motion for Resolution 433-22 to keep the public hearing for our preliminary 2023 budget open.
So moved.
Motion by Lori,
Second.
second by Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Are you writing down these things? Okay, okay. This time, we're going to go on to our next public hearing to annex 159 Pleasantville Road into the Pleasantville Water District. If I can please have a motion to open this public hearing.
So moved to open the public hearing.
Motion by Lori,
Second?
second by Jerry. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Emily, can you please read the notice?
Sure. Notice of public hearing, Town of Mount Pleasant. Notice is hereby given that the Town Board of the Town of Mount Pleasant will hold a public hearing to consider annexation of 159 Pleasantville Road into the Pleasantville Water District at 7 o'clock PM on Tuesday, November 22nd, 2022, at the Town Hall, 1 Town Hall Plaza, Valhalla, New York, 10595. At said hearing, all persons shall be heard.
So this request comes from David Smith, our town engineer. This is a request to petition for annexation into the Pleasantville Water District due to a recent water main break. The existing residents approve this petition and will pay fees associated with the installation of the new meters and meter pits. Let's see what other- and that's all I have on that. Again, at this time, if anyone from the public would like to come up and comment on this public hearing, please do so now. Nobody? Okay. So at this time, Resolution 434-22, I'll take a motion to close this public hearing to annex 159 Pleasantville Road into the Pleasantville Water District.
Move to close this public hearing?
Motion by Jerry,
Second.
second by Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I'm going to just jump down to the supervisor's report. This is the actual authorization to annex 159 Pleasantville Road into the Pleasantville Water District. This will approve this request. This is Resolution 442-22. Take a motion for approval, please.
That's item 7 on the agenda.
Correct.
Is that correct? Yes. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Lori,
Second?
second by Jerry. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I am going to go back up to our last public hearing. This is a public hearing to consider an amendment to Schedule of Regulations, adding the OB Master Plan Zone. 2, a proposed local law adding Chapter 218-74.1, OB Master Plan District. And 3, amending the town zoning map related to the North 60 project. If I can have a motion to open this public hearing, please.
So moved.
Motion by Tom,
Second?
second by Jerry. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Notice of public hearing by the Town Board of the Town of Mount Pleasant to consider 1, amendment to Schedule of Regulations adding OB Master Plan Zone. 2, a proposed local law adding Chapter 218-74.1 OB Master Plan District. And 3, amending the town zoning map. Please take notice that the Town Board of the Town of Mount Pleasant, New York shall conduct a public hearing at Town Hall on the 22nd day of November 2022 at 7 o'clock PM to discuss a proposed local law, 1, amending the Schedule of Regulations, 2, adding Chapter 218-74.1 OB Master Plan District, and 3, amending the town zoning map. Please take further notice that proposed local law is available for review in the town clerk's office. Please take further notice at the public hearing upon said proposed local law. An opportunity to be heard in regards thereto will then and there be given to those favoring passage of such proposed local law and also those opposed thereto.
Thank you. You don't have anything to add to this?
No, pretty straightforward. This was studied as part of the secret process, part of the zoning to let the project move forward to the planning stage. And this is a necessary step to move this project forward.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
If anybody from the public has comments, please come forward. Nobody? Okay. Resolution 435-22 will be a motion to close this public hearing to consider the amendment to the schedule of regulations. I'll take a motion, please.
So moved. I'll second it.
Motion by Jerry, second by Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I just need to jump back, I'm sorry, to the public hearing for the budget. We didn't set a date.
Right.
Next.
The date for this
Remain.
next public hearing on the preliminary budget will
The
be,
next business session is Tuesday, December 13th at 7 o'clock PM.
great, thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to the supervisor's report. I'll be reading for Carl. First item is from David Smith, purchase order 830-22-17. This is a Ford 550 DRW XL cab with Dyno Pro dump body, snowplow, and sander. Authorization is requested for the town board to approve the department to purchase the 2022 Ford F-550 with a plow and sander at a cost of $101,995.96. This vehicle was competitively bid under the Sourcewell contract 091521-NAF and will be funded by the capital bond SW-22 as slated for vehicle purposes. The vendor is GNA Truck and Utility Equipment, and as mentioned, the total cost is $101,995.96. Resolution 436-22 will approve this purchase order. Take a motion for approval, please.
So moved.
Motion by Tom,
Second.
second by Lori. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is a purchase order for the 2023 ALS services. This is our Westchester EMS fly car operations service. Our vendor is StarNet Emergency Services. WEMS will provide paramedic advanced life support, ALS, to the town of Mount Pleasant from January 1st, 2023 to December 31st, 2023. This contract is for a 12-month period, and invoices will be submitted on a monthly basis. The monthly allocations for the service district are as follows. Valhalla, $27,881.56 per month. Pleasantville, $47,184.17 per month. Mount Pleasant West, $4,289.47 per month. Hawthorne, $15,013.14 per month. Sleepy Hollow, $12,868.41 per month, for a total cost of $107,236.75 monthly, an annual cost of $1,286,841. Do any of the board members have any questions? I know we had a presentation with them last week. No?
No
Okay.
questions here.
So Resolution 437, 2022 will approve this purchase order 12-2301. I'll take a motion for approval.
Move for approval?
Motion by Jerry,
Second.
second by Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is from David Smith. This is authorization to obtain bids for caustic soda delivery. Authorization is requested to solicit bids for the delivery of caustic soda, 25%, for our water treatment plants located at Pecanico Water District and Kensico Water District. Bid documents will be available on November 28th, 2022. Bid opening will be December 13th, 2022 at 11 a.m. So I'll take a motion for Resolution 43822.
Move for approval, please.
Motion by Lori,
Second?
second by Jerry. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. My next item is from our Parks and Recreation Department, from John Petrozelli. This is authorization to enter into an intermunicipal agreement with Westchester County for Virginia Road Ball Field. The County of Westchester and the Town of Mount Pleasant will enter into an agreement for the use of Virginia Road Ball Field. Agreement is for 5 years, commencing on April 1st, 2022, and terminating on March 31st, 2027. I'll take a motion for Resolution 439-2022.
So moved.
Motion by Tom,
Second?
second by Jerry. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Our next item is authorization to enter into a school resource officer agreement, SRO, with Mount Pleasant Central School District, Valhalla Union Free School District, and Pecanico Hills Central School District, pending town attorney's final approval. Authorization is being requested to enter into school resource officer agreements. I'm sorry, it's the same sentence. You all received the agreement and were able
Yes.
to review it?
Yes.
Everyone's comfortable? Any questions?
Yes.
Okay. So I'd like to move forward and ask for a motion for Resolution 440-22 to authorize these SRO agreements.
Move for approval?
Motion by Jerry,
Second.
second by Lori. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is authorization to enter into the easement agreement of 6 Wythe Court, Pleasantville, New York, for a sanitary sewer easement in favor of the town. So this was a newer item. The Richter family had recently connected to the municipal sanitary sewer located at 11 Wythe Court, and this agreement will specify the rights granted to the town and the rights and obligations of the property owners. Do any board members have any questions?
Can you just repeat that, please? That was 11 Wythe Court, but our proposal is for 6.
Oh, I'm sorry, the email says 8. Let me see the agreement, hold on.
Agreement has 6.
The agreement has, so
Agreement
there was a
has-
typo in the email. So it is 6 Wythe Court. And this will authorize the town to enter into an easement agreement. Resolution 441-22.
With the owners of this property?
Correct.
Okay. All right, move for approval, please.
Motion by Lori,
Second?
second by Jerry. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Oh, I didn't do the authorization to amend this one, number 8.
No, you're fine.
No, we have
You
to
can do it
move on
after.
to 8.
I'm
Yeah,
going to do it now.
yes.
Okay, so next item is going to be authorization for the public hearing we just closed. Authorization to amend Schedule of Regulations, add an OB Master Plan Zone. 2, to adopt local law, add in Chapter 218-74.1, OB Master Plan District. And 3, to amend the town zoning map related to the North 60 project. Resolution 443-22. Take a motion.
Move for approval, please.
Motion by Tom,
Second?
second by Jerry. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. At this time, we'll take business from the floor.
Does anyone just ask? The managers can go. The managers can go. Let them go.
You want me to say that to them?
What? No, they can go. They gave the
Tell them they can
reports.
leave.
Yeah, they gave the reports. They have to work on them.
Thank you. If our department heads want to leave, you guys do not have to stay. We did the report. I'm sorry I didn't say it sooner, but feel free. Thank you,
thanks
thank
for-
you, everybody, for coming. Have a good night.
Thanks for coming by.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I didn't know I had to tell them that. Okay, so we're going to move on to the town clerk's agenda.
The Town Clerk's Agenda, November 22nd, 2022 Town Board Meeting. Public hearing on the preliminary 2023 budget. Public hearing to Annex 159 Pleasantville Road into the Pleasantville Water District. Public hearing to consider amendment to Schedule of Regulations, a proposed local law adding Chapter 218-74.1 OB Master Plan District, and 3, amending the town zoning map related to the North 60 project. Received the notice of annual election of the Thornwood Fire District. Public hearing to be held on December 13th, 2022 at 6 p.m. at the Thornwood Firehouse to elect 1 commissioner. Received the notice of annual election of the Pecanigo Hills Fire District. That public hearing is to be held on December 13th at 6 p.m. at the Pecanigo Hills Firehouse to elect 1 commissioner and 1 treasurer. Received and filed 1 certiorari for USA Land Group, Inc. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. And our last item will be referred to Town Council. Moving on to council reports. Councilwoman Smalley?
Good evening, everyone. My report, as usual, is from the Comptroller's Office. It's Comptroller's memo dated 11/22/22. Justice Court, Precise Translations, LLC, total $1,410. Attorney, Bond, Shonik and King, PLLC, and Harris Beach, PLLC, total $10,113.66. Special Consulting Services, Tesoro d'Italia, total $3,600. Off-street parking, New York State Department of Transportation, total $2,690. Public Safety, Corsi Tire New York Incorporated, total $1,544.62. Parks, Expanded Supply Products Incorporated, total $1,554. Adult Programs, USSSA Westchester, total $5,920. Youth Programs, Lifetime Racket Sports Incorporated, total $4,207.50. General Repair, Zurich American Insurance Company, total $5,000. Highway Machinery, Corsi Tire, total $1,507.38. Capital Building Improvements, Charles A. Manganaro and FRM Mechanical Incorporated, total $10,047.50. Highway Garage Roof Repair, Abbott and Price, final payment, total $24,467.24. Recreation Capital Project, Charles A. Manganaro. This is a rehabilitation design for Whittier Drive Storm Water System, total $15,612.50. Kensico Capital Products, Granger Incorporated and Thale Industries, total $188.90. Mount Pleasant Consolidated Sewer District, Core and Main LP, Thale Industries Incorporated, total $3,986.08. Joint Water District Fund, Buglione Plumbing and Heating, Thale Industries, total $3,424.58. Mechanico Water District Number 1, Earth Care, Accent Control Systems, and PVS Mini Bulk, total $12,150.10. Kensico Water District, PVS Mini Bulk Incorporated, total $3,198.99. The grand total of this week's Comptroller's memo is $110,622.96. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Lori,
Second.
second by Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. The second item I have this evening is the CRP refuse removal contract for 223. For those of you who were in the audience or listening before, we know that the price has gone up according to the CPI. So therefore, there is an increase of approximately 7% going into 2023. The vendor is CRP Sanitation of 2 Bayview Road, Cortland Manor. It's the annual sanitation services pursuant to bid and option renewal. The last optional renewal is December 31st of 2025. The total cost will be $2,296. No, excuse me. $2,296,000. $270.
Right.
That's a lot of money. However, it is our sanitation service for the town of Mount Pleasant, and they do a very good job. So I move for approval, please.
Motion by Lori,
Second?
Second by Jerry. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank
Any
you.
opposed? Motion carries. Are we all a little asleep right now?
No, the money
the
issues.
money got me
It's
confused.
just going through my head. Anyway, thank you all, and please, to all the residents and all our staff here in the town hall, happy Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Thank you. I have one item on my report from John Petrozelli, Parks and Recreation. This is purchase order 70-22-58. This is community center shingle roof replacement. Vendors East Coast Roofing. They will remove existing shingled roof on the community center and concession stand buildings, replace all damaged or rotted plywood sheeting, and install new architectural shingles, flashing, and vents. Total cost is $28,400. I'll need a motion for resolution 447-22.
So moved.
Motion by Tom,
Second.
second by Lori. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Councilman Ciliano.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Supervisor. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My report is from the Highway Department. We have two items for you for this evening. The first item is for Mr. Richard Benquit. He's our Superintendent of Highways. It's authorization to deposit a bond for curb cut permit 1496. And he wrote a little memo here. A check covering the bond for the amount of the curb cut permit has been forwarded to the Office of the Comptroller for a deposit in the escrow account until the work being performed under the bond has been completed and the road restored to my satisfaction. Again, it's curb cut permit number 1496. It was for Sasha Esmonti, and the bond amount was $1,260. I move for approval for this resolution.
Motion by Tom,
Second?
second by Jerry. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much. We have another memo from Mr. Richard Benquit, Superintendent of Highways. Authorization to deposit bond for street opening permit number 6423. A check covering the amount for the bond for the following street opening permit has been forwarded to the Office of the Comptroller for a deposit in the escrow account under the work performed under the bond, which has been completed and the road restored to my satisfaction. The street opening permit is 6423, is for James Parita, and the bond amount was $500. The work was performed at 346 Warren Avenue in Hawthorne. I move for approval, please.
Motion by Tom,
Second.
second by Lori. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Yes, thank you so much. Have a great Thanksgiving, and all the best to you and your families. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Darius, do you have anything for us tonight?
Nothing tonight.
Excellent. So our next scheduled meetings will be our work session on Tuesday, December 6th at 7 p.m. Business session will be Tuesday, December 13th, 2022 at 7 p.m. I'd like to wish everybody a very happy Thanksgiving, and if there'd be no further business, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Tom,
Second?
second by Jerry. Carl got his Tom and Jerry.
Yep.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Thank you.